sometimes we try to play it too safe, avoid challenges, and then we never grow. You never grow. And but to avoid challenges, but to have challenges is to embrace growth. Look, and I still spoke about that challenge of I had to pass off web design jobs even when I was broke so that I could focus on logo jobs, so that I could become an expert. So I said I'm not doing anything but logos. Some people came with very good, attractive jobs for web, but they're like, I'm going to pay you hundreds of thousands. Then, no, no, I'm not doing it because I want to be the best at this logo thing. It was a challenge. And even right now, I'm still having that challenge because now I've grown to the point whereby I said, I don't want to do logos anymore. I've done logos for the past 18 years. I don't want to do logos anymore. I want to live by teaching and consulting. That's my thing now. I want to teach and consult. Now, do you know what that's costing me? Remember, I'm established as a logo designer. I don't have an issue charging people for logo design. That's the truth. If I tell them price, very few of them, 0.01% of them argue my price. So I'm established, I'm comfortable with it. But I realize that for me, it doesn't fulfill me anymore. I've done it. I've done it. I've conquered it. Now, what I want to do is teach, consult, mentor, coach. That's what I want to do. Now, I have no portfolio in that, but that's what I want to do. And so now I'm going back to do the same thing I did a couple of years ago. I'm turning down every logo job, and I'm only taking jobs that allow me to speak, train, and consult. Now that means I'm building everything in an industry that I am a novice in, and I'm leaving the one where I'm an expert. And that means that my income has been falling for the past 2 years. It has been very hard to say no because people are coming with attractive logo jobs. Just the other day, someone came to me and had a design job to do, and it was a good job. It was a good enough job because the job was the budget of it was like then it was good enough for about 600K, and he said, Tola, would you want to do this? To be honest with you, at that point in time, I barely had 200K in my account. I'm very honest with you. 200K. So all this, don't let anybody fool you. Don't let anybody fool you that Tola doesn't get broke. That's not true. Everybody in this world gets broke. There are different levels. There are different levels. That's just the truth. Look, that time I was struggling, and this guy was coming with 600K job. I'm like, man, that's cool. I can do that. It's not going to take me too much time. But then I have to tell myself, Tola, do you want to be doing more of these jobs? These design jobs? Because if you do it, you will do a good job. Then someone will see it, then he will recommend you to somebody else. Then someone else will come. Do you want to keep going up this ladder of design, or do you want to go up this ladder of consulting? And I told the guy, man, I can't do this thing. He said, why can't oh you are good now, you've done work for me before. And I said, I know, but I want to stop doing this kind of job and focus on doing this. But he said, Tola, this is a good job now. Once you do it, you get to meet my boss. My boss will into because it was a good organization, to be honest with you. And I could meet people through there. But I said, no, I don't. That's not how I want to be introduced as the design guy. And he couldn't believe it. So I told him, you know what? I'll get someone to do this job for you. And I was like, no, it's not you. Now I said I'll get someone and I'll recommend, and I can guarantee you do a good job. And I thought of somebody, and the guy just came to my head. I just called the guy and I told him, are you ready to do this job? The guy said, yeah. I told him how much was involved. The guy was like, Mr. Tola, are you sure? Are you sure you don't want? I said, no. I don't want anything from it. Don't pay me jack. I'm not asking you to take some and pay me. No, I want you to just do it and blow their mind. You see, he was happy about it because for him, he wants to be a designer. He still wants to be a designer. So I passed it off to him. It was the hardest thing because I needed the money too. But I realized that taking that money was not as important as building my career as a consultant. So he took it and he got paid. And the guy that he did the job for was happy. He called me back and said, oh man, this is your mentee. The guy is good. Oh, he impressed my boss and stuff like that. Oh, look, I just helped that guy get richer. without my own account
Hospital.
is increasing. But then
Mm.
I realized what I'm trying to do. See, I still go and speak to people. Like the other day, I went to a school to talk to them about their branding, about their organization. I consulted for them. I did like a training for them. At the end of the day, when they even called me, now I get to do consulting because I'm still a beginner at it. I do it free. Oh. At the end of the day, I got home and they sent me an alert of 20K. And I was so happy.
Mm.
20K. Look, let me tell you what that means. I used to charge people a minimum of 550K minimum to do their logo. I became somebody that somebody was sending 20K, but I was happy because that 20K was for something I wanted to do, as opposed to getting 500K and above for something I don't want to do anymore. This is the challenge that a lot of people are not willing to take upon themselves anymore. That turning away money or turning away what seems like social validation to say to do something that is totally unpopular. That's the challenge. You're not willing to face that challenge. So that challenge of when people tell me my father wants me to go and study medicine, but I don't want to study it, then don't go and study it. Argue it out with your father. It is going to be a challenge. It might strain your relationship for a while with your father, but in the end, it will bring about results. It is that, man, but my father now, that's what my father, they talk about it like their father is putting a gun to their head. You just don't want to have any fight with your father. No fight whatsoever. So sometimes you have to fight so that you can understand each other more and love each other. Just like me and my wife had to fight in the first few years so that we could become best friends.
Mm.
Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Don't run away from challenges. Embrace it. It will make you better. Tell your dad, I know you want me to do medicine, but I just can't do it. I won't be happy. Let him say, I'm not talking to you for the whole 1 year. After that 1 year, he will come back and talk to you. Even if he comes back after 6 years, whatever the case is, he will come to a place where he understands. I read a book by Philip Knight. Philip Knight, the founder of Nike. The book is called Shoe Dog. When Philip Knight started Nike, his dad did not like the idea of him selling shoes. His dad thought it was a low job. His dad thought it was not a good job for somebody who he had spent money to go to Stanford University. Was it Stanford University? One of those Ivy League universities. He said, I spent money for you to go to this school, not for you to start selling shoes. His father never, for a very long time, for years, did not support that startup called Nike. It was years later that his father now saw, I was wrong. You were right. This thing you're doing does make sense. You see, if Philip Knight had said, I don't want any issues with my father, oh, let me just make him happy because he's my father. He spent a lot of money to steer me to Stanford University. Let me not disappoint him. You won't have Nike today. And Philip Knight will not be one of the richest people in the world.